Hello again from my front porch, where we are winding down the days of October here. We're coming up towards the end, and you know, McCoy and Mulder, they'll soon be retiring from the front porch and stepping away. But in the meantime, they've been watching the days go by, right? Right? You enjoyed watching? Hello? Hello? What? Cat got your tongue? Black cat, right? 'Tis the season. Sorry. You didn't find that funny? Oh, what? You lose your funny bone too? Okay, I'll stop picking you guys. All right. Hopefully Mother Nature gets all this bad weather stuff out of her system so that come Beggars Night, it's really nice and pleasant out there for the kids. And Beggars Night apparently is a Midwest thing because I hear people outside the Midwest are not even familiar with the term. It's where the kids go door to door knocking. Hey, trick or treat, give me some candy. You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't do that in your part of the country, well, I'm feeling sorry for you. That's just a shame. But so that's coming up here just in a couple of days. Yeah. So you guys are going to watch over them too. I'm one of those people that when I'm at the door greeting the trick-or-treaters, I actually expect them to tell me a joke. And what's really kind of sad is the number of kids that will come to my door and they're not prepared for that. Say, what did your parents teach you? What is wrong with you? Oh, but anyway, that's all happening on this week. I want to pause here and that's happy, upbeat stuff. It's something a little more serious, quite a bit more serious actually. I got something in the mail and I want to use it to make a point. But I want to preface what I'm going to say now by saying I got a package delivery from someone that I'm guessing they were not intending it to be very positively received, and you'll find out why. But I got this package, and I'm going to use it as an example to make a point on something, but I'm not using them as an example, and I want to be very clear up front. I'm not belittling or mocking. This person is clearly carrying some pain, some anger, and I am not interested in putting that down or dismissing it or anything of that nature. I want to be very, very clear about that. Okay? So here's what happened. I get a package in the mail a few days ago that is in one of those white plastic envelope thingies, and inside it feels like a toilet paper tube. And honestly, I took it in the house and I set it on the island in my kitchen for a few days. I wasn't even sure I was going to open it because it wasn't anything from Amazon. It wasn't anything I ordered. I didn't recognize the name of the company that sent it. Far as I knew, it was just some mass marketing piece junk mail thing. And I was like, I don't know. But eventually, after it sat there for several days and I was actually going to pick it up and throw it away, and I was like, I wonder what's in it. So then I opened it, looked inside it. And what was inside it was this nifty tube. This nifty tube. Now this little plunger thingy, this very firm, very strong spring was down in there, and it was loaded with confetti. And when I pulled the tape off, because there's only the one end, the other end is stapled, but this end has the rainbow tape on it, and so clearly that's the end you're going to cut over that. And when I did that, the top comes off and boom, all this confetti blows out all over my kitchen counter. And so here's a picture of it, of the kitchen counter where the scene of the crime took place. My birthday was not all that long ago. And so my initial thought was some goofball sent me this thing for my birthday. And when it popped open, I laughed. I thought it was funny. But also inside the package was this note, which I'm going to read to you, but I'm not going to show you, and I'm not going to read it verbatim. I'm going to edit because it's a very negative note, and I'm going to read all that, but what I'm going to edit is the profanities. There's a lot of profanity in it as well. Suffice to say, the person who sent this was not sending it as a warm, fuzzy, I like you gift. Okay? So here's what the note says. You're a selfish D. I'll let you fill in the rest of that word. With the personality of a wet napkin. Calling you an a-hole is honestly too kind. You're more like a walking inconvenience. Congrats on being living proof that you can be a D, an a-hole, and a disappointment all at once. Honestly, I've seen more charm and integrity in expired milk. For someone so loud and full of himself, you contribute absolutely nothing but stress, disappointment, and secondhand embarrassment. That's pretty harsh stuff. By the same token, I realize this is probably not what this person would want to hear, but I want to compliment them. There are a couple of really good lines in here too that admittedly I might borrow. The one about the personality of a wet napkin, that's pretty good. But the one in here about I've seen more charm and integrity in expired milk, that's a good line. That is. I mean, I can, even though this is clearly meant to be a dig at, I can appreciate good creative verbiage like that. Someone was a very creative writer that put that together. But again, I'm not wanting to diminish or belittle or be dismissive of what is clearly a lot of anger being expressed here. The problem, though, is while this makes a point, I don't think it makes the point that the person intended it to make. Because I don't know who sent it. The note is not signed, and there's nothing in the message that tips off the context for why they sent it. Maybe it's somebody that I've gone out with before. Maybe it's somebody who wanted to go out with me and I didn't go out with them. Maybe it's a coworker that I didn't get along well with. There aren't very many of those, but there are a few. Maybe it's someone who I disagreed with politically. Either in person or online. I have some people online that they just love it when I post something political so they can come on Facebook and tell me all the reasons I'm wrong. But I mean, it could be I'm pretty sure it's not my mom. That's about the person I can check off the list. I genuinely don't know. Yeah, I can theorize. I can look at, wow, I think maybe for this reason. But as soon as I start doing that, I risk assigning blame to somebody who had nothing to do with it. So I'm not gonna go there. But without knowing any of those kind of details, this passive aggressive note and exploding device doesn't, I'm assuming, doesn't achieve the goal that it was intended to achieve. And that's often the case we run into. All of us do. I try not to hold grudges. I really, especially as I've gotten more and more mature, I have gotten really into that mindset that things happen for a reason. And there are times I really want something to happen. There are relationships I've had that I really wanted that relationship to work out. I really was invested in that, and then it doesn't work out. And I could sit back and I could be angry about that. I could be upset about that. But then I step back and I think, if this was meant to be, I wouldn't be having to make it work. I wouldn't be having to figure out how do I fix this? No, it just didn't work. That's what happened. And I've had it in work situations. There are projects, initiatives that I've tried to get launched at my company that hit a brick wall and don't go any farther. And I'm like, but it makes total sense. Why are you not? And I could hold on to that. I could be all, this is me. This is my passion. Either I get this or I'm going to be upset about this and I'm going to hold on. I mean, and again, I'm not being mocking. What I'm saying is I understand the desire to want to be so upset by something that we hold on to it, that we internalize it. But you see, when we do that, the person that we hurt is ourself. And this is nothing new. I'm not making that. We all know this to be true, and yet we fall victim to it. We fall victim to the reality that we will sit back and we will internalize and we'll roll it over, we'll mull it over, we'll fuel it, it'll grow inside us, and we'll get all this anger built up in this pen. And we expect, there's a part of us that irrationally thinks that because we're consumed by it, so is the other person. A lot of times the other person doesn't even know that we're struggling with it. The other person has no clue that we are that worked up about it. We're over here rolling it around and wrestling with it and just torn up by this to the point that we might spend our money to send something like this to get our point across. But the problem is there's no point. I feel bad that the person who sent this is so consumed by their feelings of dislike to me that they felt the need to express this like this. I mean, I'm to whoever you are, I'm sorry that you're battling with that. I'm sorry that you're carrying that. As far as what I may have done, I don't know what to apologize for because there's nothing here to tell me. I don't know. And that's the problem that we run into. When we hold that in ourselves, it eats us alive. It's a cancer, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, inside us. And we assume that whoever we're targeting, it might not even be a person, it might be a company, it might be a group of people, it might be whatever. But we assume that because we feel this angst, that somehow they're feeling it also. Rarely is that ever the case. That's the problem with holding something in, venting it even like this, and expecting the other person just intuitively knows. Because they don't. So don't let that be you. Don't let something like that consume you. Now, it is possible. It's possible this person sent this as a means of coming to terms, of letting go. That they're like, you know what? I've carried this around for so long and I just need to, boom, I need to vent it, get it out there, and then I'm done with it. If that's the case, great, wonderful. I think that's fantastic, whoever you are. Good for you. And I can clean up the glitter easy enough. That's not a problem. But beyond that, if the intent of this was to try to make a point to make me feel bad, it doesn't do that because there's nothing here to work with. But my point here is I want to use this as an example for myself and for all of us. When something doesn't go the way we want it to, when something upsets us, really stop and think, is it even something that's worth holding on to? So again, I keep going back to relationship. I don't know, again, but it's a good example. If you're in a relationship with somebody and that doesn't work out, and then you go around holding angst and anger at them because they didn't want you or because they didn't do things the way you wanted them to do it, why? Because that would mean you're not compatible and they're not the person you should be with. They're not the right choice for you because when they had the opportunity to do right by you, they chose not to. And again, this could come from somebody that I don't even know why they said it. That I don't even know this, because people do that too. We get upset about something, the other person doesn't even know that a violation has been committed. And yet we can hold on to that and explode it inside ourselves until it explodes in something. I don't know. Don't hold something internal. Don't let it just eat you alive inside thinking that you're doing damage to somebody else. You're not. You're only damaging yourself. So, we need to learn to let things go. I have to learn that lesson myself too sometimes. I do a little better job probably than some people, but I struggle with it myself too. But we do need, all of us, find a better, peaceful existence by just accepting that things happen for a reason and they don't happen for a reason, and then let it go. Speaking of letting go, this has gone on long enough. Don't you agree, guys? Mm-hmm. Yep. All stony-faced. All right. With that, I'm going to let you go, and I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.